On this week's episode of A Dryer Dose of Disney, Jared reviews Disney cruises with his friends Anthony and Lisa.
Welcome to another episode of A Dryer Dose of Disney. I'm your host, Jared Dryer, and today we've got some special guests on the show. We've got Anthony and Lisa, and we are going to be talking about Disney cruises because these two are cruise experts for Disney.
I don't know about that, but
we love it.
We're well on our way to experts.
Yes, so you guys have been on multiple cruises with Disney, and I know people swear by the cruises. They say that they're the absolute best part of Disney, and you guys have done quite a few. So tell us a little bit about yourselves, your love for Disney, and then we'll dive into the cruises and talk about those.
Yeah, that's good. So I had my first experience with Disney in like 2017, so relatively recently. And I didn't understand the allure or the appeal of Disney until I experienced it. I'd been to like Six Flags. It's like, okay, there's rides and that's fun. But when we stepped on Main Street in Walt Disney World, it was like, I'm getting chills just thinking about it right now. And so you had that experience of what is actually Disney all about. And so you experience Disney, you see all that they do so well, the customer service and all of the things, and it just hooks you. It hooked me quick.
For sure. The hospitality that Disney is able to give you, they think about not only what you need and have it ready for you, but what you want. And they're just there for you, and they treat you like your family. They treat you like you're a guest, not like a project or anything like that. And so it's really fun to be a part of that. And then I think the cruise line just steps it, if they could, right? Steps it up a notch.
Yep. And so we went on our first cruise in 2018, and we did a combo cruise between a cruise and Walt Disney World. And so we did the Walt Disney World first and then did the cruise, and we're hooked. And so on that cruise, we signed up for our next cruise, and we are now 4 cruises in. We've got a 5th one here on the way in the fall. So 4 or 5 days ago, we just got back from our most recent cruise on the Disney Wish, the newest ship in the fleet of ships. And it's amazing.
It's
just
amazing. Absolutely incredible. Yeah. So the first 4 ships are a rendition of the same ship. And then the 5th ship, the Wish, is a brand new style. And the Treasure is going to be similar to that ship.
Yeah. The 6th ship. And then they've got a 7th, or I guess, the 6th and then the 7th and the 8th. And so they've got plenty more ships to come and plenty more adventures for us to go on.
Wow.
Soon.
That's so exciting. And I can't wait for you to tell us about each of those cruises. What makes them different? And especially since you've been on some different ships, I want to hear about the difference in the ships. But before we really dive into it, I do want to ask, wherever you're listening to us on the podcast format or out there on YouTube, if it's in the video format, go ahead and click that subscribe button. So that way you're getting our content every single week downloaded into your inbox. And if you find any tips or tricks that are helpful through this series, it doesn't hurt to throw us a couple dollars over at Patreon. And our Patreon subscribers actually get some bonus content. So right now, today, that is the Butterbeer episode. And we've really nailed this butterbeer, and maybe we can make some tonight.
I'm hoping for some.
It's really good.
Let's go.
And then we also have the How to Go to Disney for Almost Free episode, which we've done twice now. I'm working on my 3rd round, and it is a great money-saving tip. So go listen to those. Now, we will be transitioning those in 2023 over onto our regular channel for everyone else, and then we'll be loading some new content for you guys. So a lot of cool, exciting things that are going to be coming. But we're going to hear about the cruises today,
yes,
which, like I said, has been a highlight of a lot of people's experience with Disney. So tell us about your first cruise. What was it like, and what were the best parts of it?
Yeah, I think for us, we didn't know that we were cruise people. We just on a whim decided to do that. And we have quickly found out that I think we are cruise people. As a matter of fact, we had a plan to go to Disneyland in summer of 2024. And we were sitting down at dinner the other night. And I was like, so you guys still excited for Disneyland? And they were like, no, we want to do another cruise. And so I think we've officially become cruise people.
For sure. And that comes out as a surprise to us, family, because we all get motion sick. And so when we went on our first cruise, we were terrified because that's a make or break.
Sure.
Moment, right?
Yeah.
So we just pack a ton of Dramamine. We all take Dramamine every single day. I don't know if that's good for our livers, but makes us enjoy our cruise. And we've never had problems with motion sickness. Prefacing everything, if you get motion sick, don't worry about it.
You can solve for it.
You can use the patch, the things, or the Dramamine.
Yeah, there's plenty of ways to solve it. So we went on our first trip. We went on the Disney Dream, which is in the 2nd class of. It's a bigger ship than the first 2 ships, and it was a great trip. 4-night cruise in the Caribbean out of Port Canaveral. And again, that was our first kind of foray into the whole thing, and just loved it. The customer service, the way they keep up with their ship, the food, the entertainment, like we could go on and on about
Well, and
everything.
they hook you from the moment you step on the ship. So the very first thing that you do, you stand there with your family and they ask you what your family's name is.
Mhm.
And then they have a microphone and they say, Disney Dream, welcome the Albedo family. And
And the
then
cast
the
members are
whole,
clapping.
everyone's just clapping and you just feel already, oh my goodness, they were expecting me and they
Yep.
decided that I'm here.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's 4 days, and that felt like a decent amount of time to get an understanding of what cruising was all about
Mhm.
and understand the ship, understand where the places were without feeling overwhelmed. I'm stuck on this ship for, a whole week and I can't
Right.
get off. But one of the beauties that we found with cruising is and for me, I'm a control freak. I want to be able to do everything right. And so when you get on a cruise, you can't do any of that, right? You've got no
Right.
control. The captain is taking you where he wants to take you, and you're getting fed what they're going to want to feed you. And there's a release of control that then brings to me freedom of just being able to take a breath and to relax and enjoy, right?
And you're relatively unreachable,
Right.
which means you can bring your laptop and you can pay for Wi-Fi. But we put our laptops away, our phones are on airplane mode, and we just get to enjoy and be really present where we're at and with our family.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Now, right out of the gates, you guys addressed probably two of the biggest fears that people have about going on a cruise is, am I going to get sick on it? And like you said, you can take medication. Now, I'm curious, have you ever had a boat just really start rocking on you?
Yeah. So the smaller ships, you can feel the rocking a little bit more. I don't know which one it was, one of the two smaller ones that we were on. I remember I was walking down the stairs in the theater and I had to like hold on because it was rocking back and forth, but nothing dramatic that we've experienced necessarily.
No. My mom's been on other ships and she actually rolled out of bed one time. But
Okay.
that was it was an extreme example. But the Alaska cruise was definitely the rockiest one that we've done.
Yep.
And I think just in that Insight Passage, it's just a different kind of water.
We did an Alaskan cruise on a different cruise line, and that was our rockiest one. And you could feel it. You're walking down the long halls, the corridors to your room, and you just start feeling it, especially because it's so disorienting. But Anthony, like you said, a lot of people start thinking, okay, cabin fever. Am I going to feel stuck on this boat for however long,
Right.
3, 6, 9 days? Some cruises go, I've seen cruises that go up to a year
Yep.
that a lot of retirees will take and they'll travel the whole world. Talk to us about, obviously these boats are huge, so much to do, so many places to go. How did you guys feel?
Yeah, I think knowing your own body is important, knowing your own mind. If you've got a 7-day cruise, we had a 7-day cruise and we had a couple of days at sea right out of a gate. And I could feel myself getting that cabin fever. And so for me, that meant getting on a stationary bike up in the fitness area
Mhm.
and just getting some of that nervous energy out. And, walking around on the outside deck just to understand that you're out in creation and it's beautiful and all
Yep.
of that you're not just stuck in a room held hostage or prisoner.
And to be honest, we're hardly ever in our room.
Yep.
Because you're doing things. You're at the pool. All the ships have slides on them. And so there's things that you can do at the pool. You're eating. You're going to shows. There's trivia things and different games. The youth places that you can go to are incredible. And so the kids have things to do. Our kids are sophomore in high school and a 7th grader. And so they've graduated up from the smaller kid areas, but they were still loving going to those places. And those things go until 1:00 in the morning if your kids want to and if you're okay with that.
And I don't know if you mentioned too, there's movie theaters in there, right? And you can watch like
New
new
release.
releases. So we were just on a couple of days ago. We're talking here in early January. The new Avatar movie is
Mhm.
still in the theaters locally, but it was live. You could watch it anytime you wanted on the ship. And so things like that are available. So there's plenty to keep your mind occupied that you're not just sitting in your room. Is this cruise ever going to get over? Like never do I feel like that
Right.
way.
And if you think it's just for kids, you've got wine tasting, whiskey tasting. There's adults only areas on the ship as well.
Mhm.
So you can get a massage, you can get a spa day, like that too.
So I know, like you guys said earlier, Disney really creates this environment and this atmosphere of hospitality. Obviously, they're at your beckoning call and you're with them in their environment for a period of, like you said, you just did 3 days or maybe 7 days out on a cruise with them. Talk to me about, obviously you've got the food, you've got the shows, you've got the movie theaters. I'm sure they do other activities on the boat. Tell me about some of that and just how immersive it was being with the Disney cast members.
Yeah, there's different roles that they all have. And so you've got your stateroom host and you've got your servers and that sort of thing. So those folks understand kind of the hospitality of service of getting you what you need. But you've also got the entertainment staff. And it's fun on a bigger cruise, a longer cruise. You get to know them a little bit. You see them in the hall and you say, oh, I remember seeing you on the stage. This past trip, I got to know some of the musicians on the ship. Almost in a weird stalker way, I get that. But at the same time, like you would see them in the pool, and I'd be able to say hi to them. Hey, nice job on that drum solo the other night or whatever. You get to know these folks, certainly on a longer cruise, but in any case, it's fun seeing them outside of kind of their normal in their different context.
And one of the things that I think Disney does really well when it comes to hospitality is I think part of their training is when a guest walks by you, no matter what it is that you're doing, you stop and you look at them and you say, hello, good evening, have fun at dinner. Did you enjoy your show? There's always something. And no matter who it is, they always do that.
Yep. They stop what they're doing and they recognize that you're there and greeting you accordingly.
Yeah. So they're acknowledging you while you're out there. Now, I can't help but notice you guys are wearing some awesome shirts from Castaway Cay.
Yeah.
So I know that's Disney's private island that they take you to. So tell me about what that experience is like.
Yeah, we love it. So we are not necessarily an adventurous family, right? And so we love being able to go to Castaway Cay and do all of the things that you would do at a normal port, but in the comfort of Disney. So you can go sit on the beach. You can go do excursions. You can ride around the private island on a bike. You can, I ran a 5K on the island, which is weird that you would do that on a cruise, but I did it because I did my weight in all of the other.
We all do
right?
it. Yeah. We all done it.
So it's fun, just fun to do that. But you feel there's a safety, right, that I feel on Castaway Cay that I don't necessarily feel when I'm in Nassau or other places.
Sure.
There's safety measures that they do there. But for a non-adventurous person like me, Castaway Cay is the way to go.
Yeah. And so Castaway Cay, they've actually rented from the Bahamas for the 99 years. Yeah. So they've leased it for 99 years and they've just completely renovated it. It's beautiful. It is really neat. You can rent the water trikes or go parasailing. There's tons of things that you can do. And then again, there's an adults only area on there. So if you want to put your kids in kids club and then tool out there and just enjoy, there's a lot of things to do. It's incredible. So a lot of the restaurants on the ship are closed because they open up and they bring their staff onto the island. So there's shops on the island. So the shops in the ship are closed because all the staff is now moved from the ship onto the island, which is really fun.
So you're saying your server that you just were interacting with at dinner on the island, serving you barbecue and, chips and whatever else it is, right?
Yep.
So you mentioned they've got some adult only areas. So I know you normally go with your girls, but have you guys ever experienced any of the adult only stuff? And if so, what's that been like?
Not really. So we've taken some tours of the area, so we're familiar with what they're like. But one of the reasons that we love cruising is because we're going as a family. We're going with our girls. And so we try to be with them as much as possible.
I try to optimize, this may come as a shock to some, but maybe not to all, that I try to optimize the experience. So I want to get almost the biggest bang for the buck. And there's a balance there, right? Between optimization and just relaxing and letting yourself go. So I like to see when the girls are getting ready for bed or whatever, I'll go to maybe some of the shows at 10, 11 at night. And those are fun and fine. But to Lisa's point, like we do this to be with our family, right? And so we happen to like our girls and we like hanging out with them and doing things together. But there is plenty for, even if we will probably at one point go on a cruise without our girls, and there will be plenty for us to do on a Disney cruise. It's not like we're going to have to graduate from a Disney cruise to another cruise line. We've interacted with folks on the cruise that, hey, we used to come with our kids and now they're in college and now they're graduated, but we still come and it's still fun for us just to come and relive some of those memories. So there's plenty to do for an adult. And Disney is you're not too old for Disney.
Sure. But I'm not too old for Disney.
Yeah, you experience that at the parks all the time, right?
And some of that adult stuff comes with an extra charge. So the spa treatments, a couple of the restaurants, it's an extra charge. But the people that do it say it's worth it.
Absolutely.
So I'm curious, you mentioned some of the fun activities that you can do at all the ports and all the stops. Now, do you guys typically do excursions? And tell me about your experience with those.
We're a little bit of both. So there are some ports where we will get off and we'll we'll plan an excursion and do that. And they've been really fun. We've enjoyed those. And then there are other ports where we'll get off and we'll just walk around and it's just a fun way to see a new place. And then there's a port that we don't like to get off on.
Sure.
And so this last time we actually just stayed on the ship and had a great time enjoying the ship while everybody else was.
Yep.
We could do the pool, we could do the slide. There's a lot that we could do without everybody else around.
Lots of lines. And we've done swim with the dolphins.
We did a train ride in Skagway in Alaska.
Yeah, so there's plenty to do. And some people, they will be gone. The moment they can get off the ship, they'll be gone for the whole day and they come back like the last person to ride back. Going back to the fact that we're not super adventurous, and we'll go maybe see a thing and then come back to the ship where we feel back at home. And to Lisa's point, do something on a ship that's not as full as maybe it used to be the night before.
We're homebodies, which I think is actually one of the reasons we probably enjoy cruising is because we can go We can unpack one.
Yep.
And then the ship's going to take us all around. We get to see a ton of different places, but we're always coming back and we're not having to repack travel.
You always come home, right?
It's a huge advantage. We love it. We've been on a couple cruises. We've not done Disney yet. We definitely plan on doing that. But what I've really liked about the cruises we've done is I've started to target some of the bucket list things that we wanted to do and places we wanted to see. And in fact, one of the last cruises we did, I wanted to swim with whale sharks. And I had the opportunity in Cozumel to swim with whale sharks. And so the three of us went out on a boat for hours out into the middle of the ocean. And there were other boats by the time we got out there. And they just dumped us out there to go snorkel with whale sharks all day. And it was amazing. And I took my GoPro. I got some awesome footage of it all. But now when we start looking at cruises, we start looking at, okay, what are the ports? Which are the ones we've not seen? What do we want to do? And then we'll even look at the excursions and say, okay, this port has really lame ones. Let's look at a different cruise because I want something that's going to be fun and exciting at each one.
Yeah, that's where we've gotten, right? Doing 4, we've got our 5th one planned in the fall. We've already been to Nassau now, 2 or 3 times. Let's go somewhere else. And let's go from a different port, right? We went through Port Canaveral. Is it 3 times now? We'll be 3 times. And so let's go to San Diego where we've not been.
Right.
Let's go to New York. Let's go to Galveston and experience something new on the front end. And then also the new ports that you would go through based on that itinerary.
Awesome. So you mentioned earlier that you've been on multiple different ships. You just went on their brand new ship. Tell me a little bit about the differences in the ships and it doesn't make that big of a difference.
Yeah. So they've got 3 classes of ships so far. So they've got the Magic class, the Dream class, and the Triton class. And the Magic class is their first 2 ships. There's the 2 smaller ships. So the Magic and the Wonder. And then the Dream class is the Dream and the Fantasy. And then Triton class is the Wish, the new Treasure one in 2024, the 7th unnamed one, and then probably this 8th kind of global Dream in Asia that they'll probably keep in Asia. But the first 4 are pretty much identical in terms of the layout. It's just the size. So the Magic and the Wonder are smaller. The Fantasy and the Dream are bigger. I think I happen to like the Dream better than the 2 smaller ones. I think you like the smaller ones.
So I like the smaller ones because there's not as many people on them.
Yep.
But I like the Dream better just overall. And the Fantasy we haven't been on yet. That's the one we're going on this fall. The Wish, when we start talking about differences, the atrium area is completely different. And so you feel that immediately.
Yep.
It's a right away. You walk in, you're like, this is very different. It feels like you're walking into a palace is essentially, and that's what it's intended to feel like. And they nailed it when it comes down to it. But it was just, even though it didn't feel huge, I thought it would feel huge. There was just something about it that it won't be my favorite ship, but they've done such a great job. The restaurants, we have to stop and talk about the restaurants.
No, I love food. That's my favorite thing about Disney. So let me have it. Yeah.
I'm going to take a little tangent here. So every ship has 3 main dining rooms and you will rotate through every single dining room throughout your cruise. So no matter how long it is, and they tell you where you're going and then your staff, so your servers travel.
Okay.
And so every night you have the same serving staff, but every night you're eating in a different restaurant. And so that's really fun. And then if you repeat a restaurant, the menu is completely different.
And the ambiance,
entertainment,
everything.
Yes. And so the 4 classic ships, those first 4 that we talked about that are all identical, they all have a restaurant called Animator's Palette, a centering restaurant that they all have. The new ship does not have that restaurant. And so that was a shock to us because it's one of our favorite places to go. But they had different restaurants. And there's always entertainment. There's something that's happening. There's something that's drawing you in. And they just do such a wonderful job. You feel like you've gone to the show before you've even gone to the show.
And it's funny, right? So you asked us about restaurants. We haven't talked about the food at all. So like they do all of this other stuff, but then there's also amazing food, right? So you got whatever 4 or 5 course meals that are stuff that we don't have on a day-to-day basis. It's stuff that, you're on a ship and so you're like, let's try that. And it's great. Lisa and I have to eat gluten-free. Yeah. And over the past little while, I think the cruise ships have gotten way better at that. Usually what they would do is they would show us the regular menu and say, you can have these 2 or 3 bland items and have fun. This last cruise that we were on, we had our own menu of really similar items that was on the main menu, and it was really good. So I think they've come a long way in terms of kind of catering to the folks that have allergies and that sort of thing, to not just give us the leftovers, but really to give us high quality food that tastes great.
And those are your options. Then breakfast and lunch, they've got different things that are upstairs, usually on the pool deck. And so there's either
Cabanas?
Cabanas is like a cafeteria.
Mhm.
And then on the new ship, it's called Marceline Market. And I think they've done
Great.
the exact same food, but the feel of it just
That's right.
felt better. And
That's
so I liked it more. And then around the pool, they've got different little pop-up shops that you can walk into or walk up to.
Burgers and kind
Barbecue,
of stuff like that.
tacos.
On the Wish, on the newest ship, they've really outdone themselves on that area. They call it the Festival of Foods. And it is
awesome.
just top
Yeah.
notch, right? They've got burgers and barbecue and a cantina. It's almost like a Chipotle Qdoba sort
Yeah.
of thing. And we ate lunch there every day just because it was so good. And then they've also got restaurants open for breakfast that you can sit down and order. But we happen to just go and eating at our own pace.
Yep.
Whenever we're ready, go get breakfast and then be done and not have to wait till our food gets there. Plenty of food. The joke is if you're ever hungry on a cruise, you're doing it wrong.
Exactly right.
So there's always, with a Disney cruise specifically, right, there's no drink package. And so soft drinks you can get them at any time. So you don't have to pay extra for that. And then you've got the ability to go buy an alcoholic drink
Mhm.
or like a coffee drink or even like a smoothie or something like that. There's plenty that you don't have to pay extra for, but you're still getting really quality stuff. Whenever
And the extra drinks are really good. So like the teas and things that you get
Yep.
at the cafe, they're regular coffee. And so Anthony would go and get me drinks every morning. And I was like, you know what? I'm actually good just with their coffee because it's fantastic.
which I like because I
Yep.
don't have to pay extra.
Yep, exactly. It makes it easy.
But yeah, the food on the ship, I don't know that I expected it to be that good just because I figured they're going to do entertainment really well. They're going to do
Right.
hospitality really well. They do the food really well too.
And the rule was if you see it, eat it.
Okay. So tell me about that. See it.
Eat it. So if you walk by and you see something, eat it.
They've got soft serve ice cream that you can get any time of the day. And they've got the vanilla and chocolate, but usually they got like a flavor of the day. So blueberry or pineapple or mango or a combination of all of that. So it's, like I said, if you're hungry, you're doing it wrong. And the food is just really high quality, really good.
Like you guys, when we go on the cruises that we've done, there's just three of us, but sometimes we all want something different.
Yep.
And especially around lunchtime, we loved going to that area that would have all the different types of food in there. So that way everybody could pick something different. We could all come back together. And like you said, it's all included. It's all free. So there were times that we'd get something and say either not very good
Right.
or not enough,
Right.
or I want more. Just hop right back up there and grab some more.
Right.
So
And they'll do the same thing at dinner. If you're like halfway through the meal and like they've actually asked our girls who maybe weren't as hungry that time and said, hey, did you not like what you got? Because I can bring you something different. And, or if you want a second helping of it, do that or a couple of desserts.
Yep.
Or if you're looking at the menu, you're like, I don't know, is it this or should I get this or that? And then all of a sudden the server just
Bring both of them.
yeah.
Yeah. They're fantastic. You bring up the money thing and not having to pay
Yep.
extra. There's something to me about going on vacation and kind of having it all paid for and not having
Yeah.
to be like upsold while you're on the ship or doing other things. And that's probably a personal financial philosophical
No,
sort of thing.
I
But
think a lot of people spend enough on vacation that if they can get away with now I'm eating and doing everything and I don't have to pay, I want to do it.
and we love that idea. Even if you think about prepaying tips and stuff like that,
Yep.
we do all of that sort of thing so that when we are on the cruise, we can just relax and enjoy and not have to worry about being nickeled and dimed. Maybe in other vacations where you're having to do that.
Sure.
right? Going out to dinner or renting this car or whatever. Once we get on the ship, everything's paid for and we're done and ready to go. Even down to we love bringing gift cards on the ship
Mhm.
so that each of us have money to spend at the gift shops or doing whatever we want. So,
That's smart. Yeah.
for me, I don't tell my family this, but I'm creating sinking funds. For them, it's just a fun
Now
gift
we
card
know.
that we
Exactly right.
put into a stocking stuffer or an Easter basket or a birthday thing. But when we go on the ship, we've got whatever it is, $7,500 to buy a shirt or buy a latte or whatever else. And you're not feeling like you're coming back home with bills.
No, that's a great point. So I know with Disney, a lot of people think about there's going to be a lot of families. And you guys have talked and touched on some of the adult stuff that can happen on the cruises and the activities that are there. Talk to me about the atmosphere. Is it very loud? Is it chaotic? I know when we did our Alaskan cruise, we did it on a cruise line that's notorious for catering to old people.
Sure.
And I will say it was the quietest thing I've ever been on. And it was actually really relaxing. And it was right before we had Daphne. It was like a baby moon where we got away before we had her. And it was super, super quiet. Now, since then, we've taken her on a cruise and we went to the Caribbean and it was on a brand that is a little bit louder and
Sure.
known for being louder.
Sure.
And there were definitely a lot more people. It was definitely crowded. Talk to me about that aspect of the Disney cruise.
Yeah, I think we did a Disney cruise to Alaska, and I think I would say the same thing. It was a little more subdued, right? It's colder, and so not a lot of people are out on the deck, splashing around in the pools and all of that sort of thing. So I think that just lends itself to that. But I got that sense on that. The other cruises where we've been in the summer, like in kind of warmer climates, it's not really a party atmosphere, right? Like things get a little boisterous after 10 o'clock, but really not outlandish. You hear stories about just crazy debauchery and that sort of thing.
Yep.
That's not Disney's thing.
It's not Disney
it's
at all.
It's not like they would kick you off necessarily, but it's just, that's not the clientele necessarily they are attracting.
And when it comes to just the way that families are interacting and things like that, yeah, you got kids. So kids are loud and they're having fun. And we call it too much mouse. Like, you've had enough. It is time for you to go take a nap. We all know it, but it's just, they do a really good job of making sure that kids have places that they can go. And they take really good care of parents. I know the first time we went on the cruise, I didn't pick up a knife to cut anyone's food the entire time.
Wow.
Because my server was doing it. He's like, nope, Mom, you're on vacation. This is my job.
And you would not get that anywhere else.
Exactly. And so we always had opportunities to send the girls to the kids club if they wanted to go. And there are a lot of parents that take advantage of that. And they're like, hey, bring kids' food out first. They're hungry. And then they're going to go, we're going to check them in, and then we're going to come back to dinner and we're going to have a nice, quiet dinner together. I think just going with that mindset of, there are kids on the ship. They're having a ton of fun. You should be having fun too. And so just going with it.
It's the same thing at the parks, right? You're going to experience that similar thing where it's 2 o'clock and it's hot and I'm hungry and Dad's
They're
hungry
melting down.
Yeah. You get the same thing on a ship, but with the ship, right, you can at least just go upstairs to your room and take a minute. At the parks, it's either you go home or you just endure. And because I've been there too, right? Where you just endure to get your money's worth. And you know, come 5 o'clock, hopefully they settle down.
We are having fun.
That's right. That's right. And we're, gritting your teeth and just getting through it. But with the ship, it's a little different, but people are people, right?
Yep. So I'm curious. I love when we're on the ship that they have a show every night.
Sure.
And you get entertainment. And I love going to a show.
Sure.
Obviously, Disney takes it up a notch. They do better than almost any other production companies that are out there. Talk to me about the shows on the ship.
They are phenomenal. So we're show people as it is. And so we love to go and see the Broadway shows and things like that. And a couple of them we have actually seen. And some of those shows that we've seen on Broadway here, we have enjoyed their version of it better on the ship. And it's incredible because we've got the same actors that are performing night after night, different shows, because there's a different show every single night. On the longer ships, they'll bring on other kind of side performers to help alleviate some of that. But this last trip, we saw a unique show that they always have one or two of those unique shows that are just for the ship. And then we saw The Little Mermaid and we saw Aladdin.
So good.
And they were
so good.
I mean, it is Broadway quality. And then what we learned on our Alaskan cruise this summer is that there's always a visiting Broadway performer.
Okay.
Who they part of the show and had a very main role. So in the
Frozen, it wasn't Olaf, it was the Broadway performer.
So the puppeteer for Olaf had been on Broadway.
And it feels like to me, lots of folks who are in that industry, in that entertainment industry, feel like it seems like Disney would be a destination for them. And so you're not getting second-rate musicians or singers and actors. You're getting top-notch folks that this is their dream and they're living it out. And so you get to experience that high quality.
I think one of the things that I noticed this time, there was a tap dancer that we saw in one of the lounges. And I watched her because she was just phenomenal. But she had this joy on her face. Of, I am loving every moment of that. So that was the first. The second night we go to the show and Anthony's, there she is. Now she's playing in The Little Mermaid. She's a mermaid or whatever. And she has the exact same look on her face, just loving what is happening and just taking it all in. And she wasn't a main performer or anything. She was just in the chorus and in the third. And every time we saw her, it was just that same, I am living out my dream and I love what I get.
Yeah. I know for me, not a lot of our viewers know that I work in finance. I work at a credit union and it's been my dream to work at Partners Credit Union, which is Disney's credit union. Oh, wow. And I always watch for openings over there and whatnot, but there are a lot of people that they just want to work for Disney. They want to be a part of it. They want to be immersed in it for life. And obviously those people are doing it. So kudos to them for living out their dream.
We've even said that come retirement, like we've been toyed with do we go work at a park? Right?
Yeah.
Just be a cashier or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Just to be part of the Disney culture of like just the excellence and the customer service and all of the things. Man, how cool would that be to be part of it?
Yeah, no, it'd be amazing. Now, I am curious. Now, obviously, Disney is known for being very clean. If you guys haven't heard, and I'll tell our listeners too, there is a really good YouTube channel out there from a guy named Dennis Snow. And Dennis Snow is who really helps set the pace for the Disney level of service. And he talks about everything speaks. And saying everything speaks, he shows a picture of these flowers with a pop can in it and how that just takes away all the beauty of the flowers and whatnot. So Disney's really grown around that culture that he created over there. And he has since moved on and now he's consulting. A lot of other cruise lines they have the gambling. And I know Disney does not have gambling, but a lot of the other cruise lines have allow smoking on the ships, stuff like that. Does Disney allow smoking on the ship? Or
They do, but like on a very, you've got to find it right area of the ship.
It's over by the big smokestack tower.
That's right. Yeah. Nothing to see here. And, you know,
It's not a place that you want to be.
because there's nothing else going on there. It's just,
Right.
that's what you're smoking. And then you go back to have fun. But yeah, everything, hotels do this, but the smell of the ship, I have tried everything to find that smell and I can't find it. Like there's places online that you say, this is the smell. I'm like, I get it. And that's not the smell. So when we smell it, the moment you walk on the ship, it's, oh, here I am.
Yep.
They just do and again, hotels do that all of the time, but they've got a unique smell that I
So
want.
you're actually going right down the path of one of our brand new affiliates that we're working with here at A Dryer Dose of Disney. And that's the Magic Candle
Great.
Company. And so I'll put that in the links. So if you guys want to check out the Magic Candle Company, you can get a discount if you click our link over there.
I've
but-
not tried their Castaway Key one yet.
They've got
See
some
if it
amazing
smells.
ones. And I don't have the Castaway Key one, but I do have about a dozen of them here.
Okay.
And you guys should,
Smelling.
yeah, you guys should smell them.
That's
They're
great.
pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love they've got Pirate Life. And of course they can't, since they're not a Disney company,
Right.
they can't call it Pirates of the Caribbean,
course.
but they name it very close
Right.
and they are amazing and they're pretty close on.
Good.
They're really
Good.
good.
Well, you should do Disney ships.
Okay.
We-
Whatever
that's
that.
what we
Yeah. Yeah. If you're listening, Magic Candle Company.
Yeah.
We
So
will
no,
buy
and
them.
they have hundreds. So
Yeah.
they probably already have it. So
Great.
we need to check that
Check
out
it
over there.
Check it out.
Formal night. Does Disney do formal night?
Not really. And so that's actually one of the things I want to talk about. So you can wear just your regular, call it cruise casual, just whatever you're wearing, not your swimming suit,
Mhm.
but whatever you're one step up from that, you can wear that to all your dinners. On the Caribbean cruises, they do pirate night, which is
Okay.
phenomenal. And so you dress up like a pirate and then
If you want.
Yeah,
You
if
don't
you
have
want.
to.
You don't have to, but they'll throw you overboard. They'll make you watch.
Okay.
I know.
Love it.
But then at about 10 o'clock, when it's dark outside, they'll do a big pirate show. And Jack Sparrow usually shows up in a very Jack Sparrow way. And then they are the only cruise ship that is allowed to shoot fireworks off from the ship. And so there's a huge fireworks show that is Disney level production.
Yeah.
You think about the fireworks over the
Yeah.
Magic
Yeah.
Kingdom. It's so good.
Such a fun night. And everybody in the ship has got their pirate garb on and it's fun. And then the thing at night. But yeah, other than that, there's nothing specific that you have to wear. I think they do one night that they say if you want to dress
You
up,
want-
that's
on a
the,
longer cruise. Yeah.
But,
Sure
you
night.
know,
Not
there's probably-
tuxedos. My dad's had to rent tuxedos to go
Right.
to fancy night. There's no captain dinner night.
Okay.
So it's just a little bit different than what you find on.
Sounds a little more relaxed, a little more my style.
more family style, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we've gone on our cruise, we've always, they always send it out before that, hey, this night is going to be the formal night.
Right.
They'll do the pictures. You can get your family picture with the little life preserver circle there, right there with your ship name on it. And we've always just said, no, like, we're not going to do this. I want to be on vacation. I want to
Right.
relax. I'm going to dress down. I'll go eat dinner over at the buffet tonight
Right.
because I'm not going to mess with it.
Yep.
So
Do the required thing. No, for sure. Yeah. There's different things on the ship too that really I would encourage people to take advantage of. The Sail Away party is so fun. Well, I don't think we did it on the first one.
No, we didn't know
necessarily.
about it.
Didn't know about it. We wouldn't miss it now. It is so fun. There is something, and again, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. That's
Yep.
how good Disney does
he's getting
their stuff.
real excited, you guys.
This is so good. They blow their whistle, and it's what song is it? When You Wish Upon a
Yeah.
Star. You hear that, and then they say, "You're on vacation." It's yes, I am on vacation,
Yep.
and I'm going to take advantage of this. It's so good, and it's fun dancing around, and characters come out. But there's just something that happens at that sailway
And there's
party.
so much energy and you're meeting cast members.
Yep.
Like you said, the characters are out. It's so
So
Yeah.
do not miss that. It's right at the beginning. You got to do your safety training
Yep.
thing,
Right.
and
Always.
then you go have the party, and then it's
you're out.
relax.
Yeah.
Let's
then
go.
it's just on.
It's so fun. So make yourself available for that.
So talk to me a little bit about the room, about the quarters.
Yeah.
What rooms have you guys stayed in? What do you love? What do you like? And just
For our first cruise, we just didn't know. And so we got just an ocean view room. So it just has one big circle window in it. And then it had a queen size bed. And then there's a curtain that you can pull that separates that from the sofa that's in the room. And then above it, there was the pull down from the ceiling.
Mhm.
So that was the first room that we had. What is a standard on every Disney ship, in every room that's not an in room, is the split bathroom. And so this is family friendly and unique to Disney. There's 2 bathrooms. There's one that has a toilet and a sink in it.
Mhm.
And the second one has a shower.
Yep.
And so someone can be in the shower and someone else can be brushing their teeth or whatever. You're not fighting over who's in the bathroom or what's going on there. So that is fantastic.
Yep. Big
Is it-
difference.
It's huge difference. Big closet, plenty of storage.
Yep.
There's a desk area that has more drawers and more storage. They
Little
do
fridge thing.
a little fridge. Yep. They do a really good job of making sure you've got enough place to plug things in. So whether it's a USB or a USB-C or just a standard plug-in place. So they do a really good job of that, knowing these are families and they're bringing a ton of electronics with them charged up.
Yep. And then, so that was the ocean view. Then we've also done the veranda, so a little balcony. And it's interesting. We did that once, and I don't know if we'll ever go back to not having one.
Sure.
The room's a little bit bigger. There's like sometimes a Murphy bed included
Mhm.
in that. So you could even sleep 5 people into that room. Or if Lisa doesn't want to sleep in my bed, she can pull down the
Yep.
Murphy bed and shut the curtain, not have to deal with me. So I get that. I understand that completely. But then the veranda is
It's
just so good.
nice.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
at the evening, you can kind of be watching as we're sailing away from the port. In the morning, you can have your coffee out there. So cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know if we're ever going to go back.
And then we, on this last cruise, traveled. The only room that they could find was the
Yeah.
room in the very back of the ship.
Uh-huh.
And so the room itself looked exactly like our room did, but then their veranda was huge.
Yep.
And so instead of just this tiny little room, they had this huge area in the back of the ship. We golfed out
Yeah.
there. And the view even from there just was different.
Yeah.
Just
We usually stay on the middle of the ship because there's not as much rocking. If you think about kind of
Yep.
a fulcrum, or I don't know, I'm not going to go back to science, but whatever that is, there's not as much rocking there on the front or the back of the ship. But in any case, you're not going to feel it necessarily on the front or the back. We've just heard the middle is the way to go. And you're in the hub of
Yeah.
all of the activity.
So there is a big difference. We've done both of our cruises. We've had rooms in the back of the ship.
Okay.
And there's been times that we said we wish we were closer to the middle just because it would be easier.
Sure.
And one time we were off to the side, back side. We're isolated, which was nice. But then every time we wanted to go eat, we had to walk all the
Right.
way down to get to the middle. And then the elevators, obviously, cruise ship full of people, the elevators are highly in use. So we
Right.
use the stairs
Yep.
more often than
Yeah,
not.
we did the same.
But we said, hey, if we were in the middle, that would be a lot easier. But the one time we were on the back, like you said, we had a really nice veranda. It was huge. And that was our Alaskan cruise. And we were able to see all kinds of wildlife
Yep.
from the back of the boat, which was amazing.
Yeah.
So
I would say if you're doing an Alaska cruise, get a veranda. Like,
Yeah.
pay the money and do it because it's worth it to.
and you
Okay.
are in your room a little bit more. At least we were. We spent a lot more time in our room than we did our Caribbean cruise.
Yep.
So pay for the veranda. It's
Speaking of paying, this may be our I can do this all day tip of the day.
yeah, I want to hear it.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been chomping at the bit here.
We've
So-
got several, but I think mine would be when you're on the cruise, you can then book a new cruise or put it down a deposit, and with that, you get 10% off the prevailing rates once you book your new cruise. And so that's how I get comfortable spending the more money on the veranda. I'm already saving
Great
10%,
point.
so I'm almost getting the same price as an ocean view, and I'm getting the free veranda, if you will, because I've booked on that ship.
not a huge investment. You're not putting a ton of money down. And it's 100% money back guarantee. So if you decide not to book a cruise within
Right.
2 years, and you don't have to tell them what cruise you're booking, you're just reserving that this family can take another cruise.
Putting $250 down towards that cruise,
Yep.
and you get 10% off.
Oh, that's
No-brainer.
huge. That's
Right,
huge.
and
Yeah.
That's how they get you coming back, but
Yep.
got me coming back
Yep.
for sure.
Oh, I would definitely do it. I would definitely
Yeah.
do it. So, Lisa, what's your I can do this all day tip
So
of the day?
my I can do this all day is don't fly in the day that you set sail. We've had way too many flight fiascos and we would have missed the had we flown in that day. And so fly in a day, at least a day, if not 2 days in advance. Enjoy the city that you're shipping out of, and then you can get on your ship. The last thing you want to do is get on the ship stressed out.
Mhm.
And so if you've
Yep.
got a buffer, and what we thought was going to be like a 32-hour buffer ended up being more of like an hour buffer just because of some really crazy travel stuff. We were just really glad to know that we trying to get to the ship straight from the airport.
On this past trip, we went out of Port Canaveral, and so we flew into Orlando. And so we had a day in Orlando, and so we were to go to Disney Springs and get some of that Disney magic. The juice is flowing already, so that when we got on the ship, it was like, oh, we're already in the Disney zone. We really like that. That obviously pertains only if you're in Orlando.
So I do want to ask about that. So a lot of people that I know will they'll do the 3-day cruise with 4 days at the park.
Yep.
And they're going to be out there 8 or 9 days and just try to do it all. You said, correct me if I'm wrong, you've done it once where you did the parks and the cruise.
Yep.
Is it worth it? Is it too much? Would you split it? What do you guys think?
Yeah.
So I would say it's worth it.
Okay.
Especially if you're park people. You don't want to miss out on that. Do it first.
Yep. Do the park first.
Do the park first.
Okay.
Then when you get on the ship, you just relax.
Yep. That's
Great
what we
point.
did. And I think if we would have done it the other way, I don't think we would have enjoyed either one as much as we did. Yeah. I think it's doable depending on the ages of your kids and that sort of thing. You got to use that as part of the equation. But for us, it worked great. Our kids were old enough to handle themselves at the park and then handle themselves on the ship. But yeah, I think that's fine. If you do 3-ish days at the park and 3-ish days on the cruise, or plus or minus on either end, I think that's the way to go for sure.
Yeah. So in one of our earlier episodes, the top 10 things to bring with you to the parks, we talk about the importance of shoes when going to the parks, because when we go, we marathon it. We do park 4 days in a row. And boy, our feet get real sore by the end. I can only imagine how awesome it would be. You do your days at the park, you get on the ship, and now I can go get a spa treatment and get my feet rubbed.
And sit in a hot tub.
Right.
Yeah, whenever you want. Yeah.
Versus the other way around.
That's right.
Don't be fooled. I think that every single day we were putting more than 10,000 steps
on the ship.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Going up and down
because
the
walking
stairs.
up the stairs and all around the ship and everything. But
you're on a ship.
Yeah.
You're on a cruise
You're on a
ship.
ship.
Like you're on vacation. I'll put in 10,000 steps.
Well, and you said it earlier, Anthony, that we eat our weight on the ship.
Sure.
And so for us, we're always saying, every time we go, just take the stairs.
That's right. Yeah.
We want to keep taking stairs.
Knock off some of that dessert.
Yes,
right?
exactly. So that way I can have the baked Alaska when I'm in Alaska.
Yeah,
right?
100%. The other thing I would say, I don't think we've mentioned this yet either, but lots of folks will put magnets on their doors. And it's been our first cruise. We didn't know about it, but now we do that every time. And there's some Etsy shops you can go take a look at, and you can get your names on them with whatever Disney cruise ship and in Mickey ears and Minnie ears and that sort of thing. So that's a fun kind of add-on to think about it as you're thinking about it.
and
Great
it's
tip.
fun. Then as you're walking down the hallways, you don't feel mundane because people have decorated their doors, and so you're seeing. Plus, it helps you orient yourself. You're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I walk by this one.
Yep.
I'm getting
Two
close
two
to
more
it.
down.
Yeah,
Two more
Get
down.
lost.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I'll say one of the tips that I had, our first cruise that we went on, we didn't unpack because it was just my wife and I.
Oh yeah.
So we had our suitcases laid out and just lived out of the suitcase
Sure.
for a week. Our second cruise, when we went with Daphne, we unpacked, we hung up all our clothes.
Yep.
We got them all, steamed and ready to go. And we put all of our suitcases underneath the bed and got them out of the way. And honestly, it felt a lot more
Right.
relaxing.
Right.
So I will say that's
Yes.
my tip is when you're out on the cruise, unpack, relax. You're, like you said, it's like your home. And so use it like your home.
Absolutely.
And I would say too, one of the things that I learned this time, and I thought I had figured it out, but I didn't. I overpack every time
Mhm.
Yep.
because I think I'm going to wear an outfit during the day, and then I'm going to wear maybe a different outfit to dinner, and then I've got to have clothes. But the reality is, I get up, I put on shorts and a t-shirt, go to breakfast, I come back, I put my swimming suit on. Well, I'm not wearing actual clothes.
Right.
Don't overpack, especially if you're just lounging on the ship.
That's right. The last thing I'll say
Yep.
about Disney Cruises, they've got a great app that I would highly suggest downloading before you get on the ship, because they've got a countdown of your next cruise on the actual app. And that's a fun thing. It's got Disney characters and all of the things. And then once you get on the ship, it will tell you exactly what you've got going throughout the day. And they do a great job. I think they're working out some of the kind of connectivity sort of things. By and large, great app. Get it and
And
use
it's how
it.
you can text your
Oh,
members
yeah.
or
Great
this
tip,
time
yeah.
we're able to add our friends. And so if our kids make friends, they can text and be in touch.
Because otherwise you can't, there's no way to keep in touch.
Yeah.
I think iMessage might work. You and I actually were texting on the ship, and
Yeah.
I was like, how did this even work? But
Yep.
Apple is everywhere. So
Apple's everywhere. It's nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. I want to thank Anthony and Lisa for being on the show today to talk to us about cruises. You guys gave some great tips and tricks, and you guys gave a really accurate experience or example of what the experience is like on the ship, which I know is going to help a ton of our listeners, and that's exactly what they want to know about. Thank you so much for all the information. For our listeners, again, we want you to subscribe. We did obviously just finish up our food series, and we covered all the parks, and obviously now we have the cruises. We are going to be going next into comparing the differences between Anaheim and Orlando, and which parks have, though we talked about food, we're going to talk about if you want the best foods, where to go. So we've got some stuff there. And then we're going to be talking about going at the holidays. Though it is January here in Denver, we just went ourselves for the holidays, and we actually learned quite a bit going for the holidays. The parks were busy. They obviously cap all the reservations, so you have the same number of people, but it is totally different at the holidays. And I'll explain that on that episode. So you definitely want to tune into that one. So with that, we hope you have a magical week and have fun planning your next vacation. And we will talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.